In this video, I'm going to review the 10 most popular hosting companies out there so that you can make the best decision possible on where to host your website. Okay, my name is Jay from digitalmarketerstube.com, where you can find free web design tutorials and step-by-step courses. So let's now get started with this web hosting comparison. Alright, so I've been a web designer for more than 15 years, and I've personally used all of these hosting companies I'm going to talk about. Some of them are terrible, and some are great. I've used more than just these 10 hosting companies I'll be comparing, but these 10 are the most popular and well-known. Okay, so these companies are A2 Hosting, BlueHost, DreamHost, GreenGeeks, GoDaddy, HostGator, Hostinger, InMotion Hosting, Namecheap, and SiteGround. Alright, so for each of these companies, we're going to look at the following factors. Uptime, which is the time their servers are active and working without any interruptions. So on some of these places, your website might be down for a couple of minutes or even hours throughout the month. So we want to avoid these companies and choose a place where your visitors will never have a problem viewing your content. Okay, page loading speed. And this is the most important factor about any website, because if your pages take too long to load, your visitors are gonna get annoyed and will leave your site immediately, most likely going to your competitors. Statistics show that on average, people wait no longer than about 3 seconds for web pages to load before they decide to leave, and also your site's not gonna rank high on Google if it's slow. Okay, so speed is very important, and I've used different tools and plugins to accurately measure this for each hosting company. Next, we're going to look at the price, and lastly, the benefits each company offers. Alright, so for the uptime, as we can see, the worst ones are Namecheap, Hostinger, and A2 Hosting. If you host your website here, you'll most likely get outages for a couple of hours each month, so not good at all. DreamHost, GreenGeeks, GoDaddy, HostGator, and InMotion Hosting came in with an average score, so they're not bad, but not totally great either. But then BlueHost and SiteGround have almost a perfect uptime, meaning that no matter at what time of the day your visitors go to your website, they will always hear content with no problems whatsoever. Alright, up next is the speed, which, like I mentioned, is the most important factor of a website. And here actually A2 Hosting and Hostinger, which have two of the worst uptimes, perform the best in this category, along with BlueHost once again. With SiteGround, which has a good uptime, actually being one of the worst in speed, along with DreamHost, InMotion Hosting, and Namecheap. A special mention goes to HostGator for being just absolutely terrible in this category. And this is very surprising since they're one of the most well-known hosting companies, but their speed is incredibly slow, right? So just by hosting your site on any of these companies, you'll automatically have a disadvantage when it comes to the loading speed of your pages. And then GoDaddy and GreenGeeks had an average score once again, so not bad at all, but not amazing. Okay, next we got the price, with the cheapest ones being Hostinger, Namecheap, DreamHost, HostGator, and GreenGeeks. Then A2 Hosting, BlueHost, and SiteGround coming in very close. And then GoDaddy and InMotion Hosting are the most expensive ones. Right? So as far as pricing goes, there's really not a big difference between most of these companies. The price for web hosting is pretty standard everywhere, and you'll end up paying more or less the same thing at any company. And while I do understand that the price is an important factor for many people, you should really focus more on the other stats we're going over, because it's not worth it to just go with the cheapest option and then have a bunch of headaches from all the problems you'll have. Believe me, I'm telling you this from experience. Okay, and then finally, we got the benefits that each place offers you. As you would expect, some of these cheapest ones don't offer too many benefits. Hostinger just offers you a free business email address, and this is basically an email like yourname@yourwebsite.com, so that you look more professional when communicating with clients. But, as you see, pretty much everyone else offers this benefit as well. Then Namecheap only offers you a free SSL certificate, which is a pretty important benefit because it will mark your pages as safe in your visitors' browsers, and your website will not rank in Google without this SSL certificate. If you don't have an SSL certificate installed on your site, browsers will show warning messages to your visitors, and we obviously do not want that to happen. The certificate can cost up to $75 in other places like GoDaddy, so in my opinion, it's not even worth it to sign up for hosting that doesn't come with an SSL certificate. Okay, DreamHost only offers you a free domain and SSL certificate. GoDaddy, surprisingly, being one of the most expensive ones, only offers you a free domain name and a free email address, but only for a year. A2 Hosting offers you a free SSL, email, and they have a good customer support. Then Green Geeks, HostGator, and InMotion Hosting offer some good benefits like a free domain name, business email address, SSL certificate, and a good customer support. Same with SiteGround, minus the free domain name. But then BlueHost just clearly excels here in this category. They also have a free domain name, business email address, SSL certificate, and a great customer support. But on top of that, they've also partnered with SiteLock, which is an online security company. And they offer free scans on your site to identify any sort of infection and alert you immediately in case anything is detected. This is very important because by detecting these vulnerabilities early, you'll be able to fix them quickly and prevent your site from being blacklisted by Google. Okay? And then lastly, in my opinion, BlueHost was the easiest one to use out of all these companies, and it comes with WordPress automatically installed. Most people create their websites in WordPress, and in many of these other hosting places, you have to install it manually, right? But with BlueHost, you will not have to go through any extra technically difficult steps to have WordPress set up in your account. Okay, so here's my final verdict for each of these web hosting companies. The worst, in my opinion, are GoDaddy and Namecheap. GoDaddy is just a well-known brand who've invested a lot of money on marketing. I think it's actually the only hosting company for which I've seen TV commercials, and that's why most beginners choose them, because they really don't know any better. I once too was a beginner and lost a bunch of money by hosting my websites with them for many years, but there's much better alternatives than them. And the Namecheap is actually good for buying domains, so if all you're trying to do is buy a domain name, they're pretty good, but for hosting, they're one of the worst. Alright, then DreamHost and InMotion Hosting rank a little bit higher, but still pretty bad, and I wouldn't recommend them either. Especially for DreamHost, their customer support is definitely the worst out of all these companies. I once had to contact them for help, and they were so clueless about everything that they even erased all the information from one of my websites. So yeah, that's pretty scary, and I definitely wouldn't go with any of these 4 companies. Then HostGator, Hostinger, and SiteGround are slightly better, but still wouldn't recommend them, especially HostGator because of their speed. But then we start getting to the good ones. A2 Hosting is pretty decent, and I wouldn't totally be against hosting your website with them. Overall, they're good, but there's better options. Then we got Green Geeks, which are pretty good actually, and I would recommend them. But then we got BlueHost, which in my opinion just blows everyone else out of the water. And they are the official hosting recommended by WordPress.org. They got the best uptime, incredible speed, competitive prices, and just a ton of benefits that make this the best web hosting company out there. And for those reasons is why most experienced webmasters host their websites here. This is now the only place where I host all my websites, and I've never had a single problem with them, so I truly highly recommend them. If you go to bluehostsavings.com or just click on the link in the description below, you'll get the best prices currently available, which might or might not be lower than $3.95 right now. Plus, you'll also get my SEO course completely for free, where I show you how to rank your website on the top results of Google so that you can get constant free traffic to your site. Because what's the point of creating a website if no one's going to see it, right? So go ahead and check it out. Instructions on how to claim this are down below in the description. And you can also go to my website, digitalmarketerstube.com, for other free tutorials and a free web design step-by-step course. Okay, so I hope this video was helpful. As you saw, BlueHost is definitely by far the best place where you can host your website. So check it out, and if you have any comments or questions, leave them down below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching, and see you on the next one.